Hello and welcome to another episode of Film Freakz with a Z, the podcast all about movies. Every episode is about a singular movie, and of course we'll get to this episode's movie in a little bit. But first, I want to introduce the movies that are up on the fan vote, which is attached to this episode's promotional tweet on my Twitter account at YemmytheFerret. You can vote on Legend of the Drunken Master from 1994, which was recommended by Callus, Hard Boiled from 1992, which was recommended by Ant Askew, Goodfellas, which was recommended by Maz, and The Good, the Bad, and the Weird from 2008, which was recommended by Player2P2. If you want to vote on any of those movies, just mosey on over to my Twitter account, and for the weekend that this episode is fresh, you'll be able to vote on whatever movie you want. You can decide our fate, essentially. All right, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. I am YemmytheFerret. Who am I here with?
Radio Awful.
Animation.
And
special guest Callus.
Yes, special guest Callus. So special, in fact,
Hello.
that he gets to introduce himself. That's right.
Welcome, Callus.
So,
Thank you.
as you may or may not hear, Coco is unavailable for this episode as well. So, Callus has stepped in pretty much last minute to talk about this movie. Well, last day, I should say, because he had a 24-hour period to watch the movie. But he did it, and he's here. And he's looking good, even though I can't see him.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So, unfortunately, we won't be able to discuss Coco's comments about CGI from Get Out from last episode. So that'll also be packed together with his thoughts on today's movie. But if Tate, if you want to get us started, let us bring us in.
All right, sure. Yeah, my movie was Edge of Tomorrow from 2014. I believe was the year. But written by Christopher McQuarrie, Jez Butterworth, John Henry Butterworth, starring Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt, Bill Paxton, and several other people. Basically, the tagline is: a soldier fighting aliens gets to relive the same day over and over again, the day restarting every time he dies. So it's kind of a sci-fi Groundhog Day. And so this movie actually is based on a manga, which I know Yemi loves, like anime and stuff.
Yep.
So I wanted to kind of talk about like how, like, the influence. How well could you guys tell this like was influenced by like a manga?
Well, I personally had no idea at all that it had those origins, but I guess it does make sense, being that the movie is like so action heavy, and they try to do like very especially with like the alien designs, like they went very sci-fi and very action focused.
You could tell from like some of the camera angles and shots that they did, and like how scenes kind of progressed. It kind of reminded me of Sunday night anime that I used to watch when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Also, the designs of the exoskeletons also reminded me a lot of like something that you would see in like a manga or something.
That's true.
I don't know if it translated too well to the real world, because they definitely looked uncomfortable walking around in them for the most part, but they kind of looked cool, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there is very few scenes where like Tom Cruise actually managed to be like actually nimble in those suits. Like near like the second half of the movie, he was actually zooming back and forth in that suit.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I never
we're gonna
seen
say-
the animes, but I mean, based off what you guys are saying, I don't know. I mean, look, I guess.
Yeah. For me, like I knew going in that it was based off a manga, so it's not, like I said, I don't think it was ever turned into an anime. But it's based off just a comic book, basically a Japanese comic book. The one thing that really stood out to me was the setup of like why Tom Cruise has to go fight in the war. It was just it doesn't make sense in like any sense of the word, any sense of just reality, and you're just like, that's not how things work. But that's how they work in animes and mangas, so that's good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it would
guess
have made more sense, like, if they started off with Tom Cruise getting arrested, for the treason, and then, but, the whole, oh, you're randomly was he a sergeant or no,
he was a
head
major.
major, no, him saying, oh, you're just a major, you're gonna go in the front lines. No, like, I think they could have skipped that and just, he committed treason and now he has to go to the front lines.
Yeah, he was more of like a Captain America, like how Captain America was just like the poster boy for a little while until they kind of thrust him into the front lines. And of course, Captain America was more willing to go into the front lines than
Captain
Tom
America
Cruise.
actually had, stuff to make him a good soldier.
But
Well,
I'm just saying, like, Captain America was more of like a propaganda thing, and I think that's exactly how Tom Cruise.
Oh yeah, no, he was totally just like marketing, and the general just was like jealous and was like, oh, by the way, somehow you've been recruited to my army, which, like, I don't think can happen. And now I'm recruiting you to the front lines. It's like, no, that's not how army works, or the military works. In any way, except for an anime.
Yeah, I guess that never really made any sense. The way they described it, or he described it, is that he has some sort of like marketing background, and then like that didn't really work out, so he fell into like doing marketing for the army and doing like recruiting, all that kind of stuff. But yeah, they didn't really explain why they wanted him in the front line in the first place. And then of course he tried to say no, so he marked him as a deserter, and that's why he ended up in the predicament that he came into.
They marked him as a deserter and stuff is because he tried to blackmail the general, so the general had him arrested.
Yeah,
like I said, it doesn't make sense. Like, I think maybe the manga explained it better, but like my guess is just the general was pissed that everyone saw Tom Cruise's character as like this, kind of like a Captain America poster boy. They're like, oh, he's so cool, he's so good, he's so amazing. And they look at the generals like, oh, the general's just sending people to die, screw him. And so he's like, you know what, I'm gonna flip that. You're going now, which I don't see. That would just make people like him more because he's on the front line. I don't know. It didn't, like I said, didn't make sense. But once we got there, it was fun. Like, I enjoyed the movie, but it's just the setup was a little weird.
Yeah, I guess the general didn't want to be the fall guy because that's how it usually kind of goes. And I don't know why putting Tom Cruise on the front lines would make him the new fall guy. Like, well, I guess he wanted him to do all the marketing and like war propaganda for, join the army and save the world, except you're going to get slaughtered, which is pretty much what the general knew at that time. So I don't know. I guess putting him on the front line, he dies with the soldiers. It helps the war effort. I don't know.
Well, did he know though? It seems to me like no one really knew that they were going to go into a slaughter.
Well,
yeah,
the general even said like he's sending all these people to die. I don't think he had much faith in it. I think
he did say that, true.
Yeah, I think he knew that like Verdansk, I think it was kind of like a fluke. Like, this is a small victory in the grand scheme of things.
I think you're thinking of Call of Duty with Verdansk.
Yeah, I was gonna say the only like argument you could have for that scene not making sense is like just the egos of like the sergeants and the higher up, just like, oh yeah, we can win just by attacking. They're not like thinking strategy wise. They're just like, oh yeah, let's head first.
Well, they did go to a part of France that was
no, like very low. Like, there wasn't a lot of activity going on there.
Yeah, they did say that they weren't supposed to be expected. So,
yeah,
I mean, it's aliens.
Yeah, I guess it's also. I'm remembering now that he was gonna have Tom Cruise like because there wasn't supposed to be any resistance. He was gonna walk on there with the cameras rolling or something like that and show like the might of the army or whatever. I think I remember that now.
Well, I think that's what Tom Cruise thought he was doing, because like he's like, I don't want to be there filming, and then he was like, no, you won't be there filming, and I was like, okay, what is he doing then? I don't know.
You're right. It is. Now the more I think about it, the more confused I am now.
Yeah, like I said, the setup to get him there just does not make sense, and I don't know if it was a translation error or what. Like, maybe the manga explains it better, but we finished the movie and both were just like, but so why was he there though?
So the movie has a confusing beginning and a confusing end.
Yeah.
Cool.
Let's not.
No, just like
we'll get to that later. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, no, it's just
good.
It makes sense why he got like, because nothing works that way. But that's fine. Like I said, it's a fun movie. The setup was a little weird and weak, but once he gets there, I had a lot of fun. I thought, it'd be, I guess, technically a sci-fi Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
I thought they did a really good explanation. Like, they actually gave an explanation of why he's repeating the days over and over, which I liked.
Yeah, they did do a good job of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so it turned the movie into a roguelike, basically.
Yeah.
Well,
much.
Funny you bring that up, Callus, because the monster design in this game, in this movie, is very similar to Returnal, which is a game. Those monsters are like giant blobs of tentacles, and these ones are exactly the same thing. I wonder if they took some inspiration from not only this movie, but from the source material as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Who does a good job of like I guess if you've never read the description, you don't know, like, oh, it was just a dream, then you realize, like, oh, he's in a repeated, once he dies he repeats. But I know it's in the movie title, but
yeah.
Well, technically the movie title is Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow.
No,
speaking of that,
no.
I was worried. I was like triple checking. Like, I didn't want to watch the wrong movie. I was like, is it?
Well, yeah, I had mentioned to Tay when he was doing it. Like, I looked at the DVD case that I have, and Edge of Tomorrow is next to Tom Cruise's name, and the biggest font on there is Live, Die, Repeat. So,
yeah,
the confusion is understandable, because even like the marketing and the fucking DVD and Blu-ray cover, it says Live, Die, Repeat in huge letters, and then it says Tom Cruise, the lady's, the main actress's name, and then Edge of Tomorrow, like it's a fucking actor.
Yeah, well, I just want to let you guys know there was a bit of frustration from me, because I don't want to have another Leo and Stitch. So
yeah, it's understandable. No. I actually did some research into it, and what it was is, like, the theatrical release is just Edge of Tomorrow, but like the marketing, they like emphasize Live, Die, Repeat so much that for the home release, for the DVD release, they actually changed the name to Live, Die, Repeat : Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, I was saying, when I rented it from Amazon, it was Live, Die, Repeat : Edge of Tomorrow.
Yeah, because when I typed it in Amazon, it was like Edge of Tomorrow, or Tomorrow of War or something like that. I was like, that can't be right.
Are you talking about the Tomorrow War, which is a new?
Yeah, Tomorrow.
Oh yeah, the Tomorrow War with Chris Pratt.
Of course, that movie comes out in the same weekend we watch this movie.
Yeah.
I was like, that can't be right.
It's not right. Don't watch that one. I hear it's awful.
Yeah, just imagine if Grady Waffles had watched that movie instead.
All right, knock it off.
Tom Cruise is looking different these days.
He looks younger for some reason.
But anyway,
if you guys want, the one thing I wanted to talk about is the J Squad, which is, I found that all those characters were like kind of interesting, but we didn't really see too much of them. I kind of wish we had.
Yeah, when I originally watched this movie, I've watched this movie like I think 2 times now. I remember them being a little bit more present in the movie. But you're right. I mean, I feel like they only had like 10, 15 minutes of actual movie time where they're actually doing stuff. And like any character information we get is just dumped by Tom Cruise because he's, he learned about them in other instances of the day.
I'd say 9 minutes of the 10 and 15 minutes was just them being repeated.
Yeah, them dying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would have liked to see more of the J Squad. I wanted to see more of like I don't want to call him like the Brute, but the guy that gets smashed by the helicopter in the beginning.
Who wears underwear to battle.
Yeah, like I think knowing him would have been cool. But yeah, I agree with Yemmy when he said that a lot of it was just dumped by Tom Cruise being like, oh, I know this because I'm smart. I know the future kind of thing.
Yeah, and also speaking of that same dude, you think he's gonna have like this huge part in the ending, but he's literally killed inside the helicopter again.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man.
Yeah, I think like obviously, like I wonder if the manga actually you see more of that like character development of J Squad.
I would
But
I
think
imagine
so.
you do, yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, but just obviously for the movie's sake, the focus is the live, die, repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
So
even in like the little bit that we hear from Tom Cruise's explanation, like they all have like interesting backgrounds and like, different reasons why they're like in the J Squad, like each one of them has like some messed up reason why they're there.
yeah, like the one kid who like stole his friend's ID when he
Yeah.
died on his first battle. That was the other thing, kind of talking about J Squad at the end. For some reason, like the second they hit like that final like push for the movie, it was so dark. I could not see or tell what was going on through most of the end.
Yeah, I think honestly, I think it was to cover up the CGI. Because I mean, the whole movie is pretty CGI heavy, as you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think by the end of it, they were kind of running out of time, and I think to make things go a little faster, they just had everything at night. Because as you guys probably already know, doing CGI work at night is extremely more easy. I should say it's easier than doing things during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
So
don't
what's
really
that?
get like a clear look at the monsters either. There's kind of blobs moving along,
It's like even
With
like some
yellow
of the
blood
stuff that like where the aliens weren't there, like the scene after the helicopter crashes and he like falls underwater and then comes out and like I'm like, okay, did he get out of his suit? I can't tell. It's like none of that. That's all should be all amazingly practical. It's like, why are you making it so I can't tell what's going on here?
It was also kind of jarring that uh oh, what's the female name in this one? Rita. It's weird that she finds Tom Cruise almost right away, and then all of a sudden it jump cuts to them being with the rest of the last living people in the squad too. It was kind of jarring there.
Yeah, and while we're talking about that scene, it makes no sense that they crashed in the middle of an alien infested place and there's no aliens on top of them until like a few minutes later when they decide to turn the plane back on.
Yeah.
I think they shoot like asteroids, and that's they probably sensed the plane coming, shot it down, and then just assumed they were all dead at that point until they started the next plane.
I guess
I don't
that's
know.
one explanation.
Yeah, that's the mental gymnastics my mind went to.
And also like how he was the scene where they finally do get off the beach and they go to that town where they go get the car with the trailer, and he's like, they ambush us here, and then there's no ambush besides like the one alien out of the trailer.
I mean, when you have an alien species that can easily kill you, one sometimes is enough for an ambush.
Yeah, I would call that an ambush. It breaking through the bottom, the road into the trailer.
Yeah.
I guess I'm just expecting, like a bunch of aliens, like when they attacked the shed with the helicopter. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
that is a little bit down the line too. That's deeper into enemy territory.
What's crazy is like the very beginning of that sequence, he's like, "This is as far as we've gotten. I don't know which vehicle works." And then he's like, "Make sure you detach the trailer." And then as that scene progresses, you actually, you find out it's several instances of his, dying and coming back. Because suddenly he knows things, and you're like, "Wait, but what?" Okay.
Basically, he's a liar.
Yeah.
No, I think it was just an editing technique to be like, okay, we're not going to show you every time he dies, but it's just going to be a long sequence that you'll slowly unrealize, oh, they've died multiple times doing this. But
yeah, I kind of like how they did that. Like, you never really know if it is really his first time doing that or not. Like,
yeah,
it was kind of clever the way they did it.
Yeah, I like the scene where they're trying to get that device, and I just like how he's calculated everything. And then at the end, he's like, well, I don't know what to do next. We've never gotten here before. And you can actually tell that he's not lying,
Yeah, because that's the final time where he actually gets the blood transfusion and can't repeat anymore.
Yeah.
So how do you guys feel about like Tom Cruise's growth as a character, like from the beginning where he has like absolutely no training at all to like near the end of the movie where he's actually pulling off these amazing moves?
I mean, the fact that if you live, die, repeat, you will eventually learn.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty steady character growth. It wasn't just like a jarring thing, like the original Groundhog Day. If you guys remember way back to that episode, we all thought that his character change was pretty quickly in that. But in this movie, it's a nice gradual thing. I mean, you're kind of growing and learning with him too about things as well.
Well, it does help that they show, especially at the very beginning, they show him learning and dying a lot. Like just like when he's training with Rita, and she just like he keeps breaking his legs or his back, and she just walks up and shoots him.
That was kind of cool, funny. Like trying to plan out. All right, you take a half-inch step to the left, and then you shoot the right, and then duck left. It was just like, geez, how many times did he die to know all this?
So many times.
It'd be kind of cool if they like had an editor's cut where they show like how many times supposedly he dies. I guess like a counter.
It'd be like a 6-hour movie.
Yeah.
Well, they could just have a counter in the bottom left. Like this is how many times he's died by this scene.
Yeah, true.
So I bet the manga, I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of keeps track better of that. Where you just get like dialogue like, this is my 1,836 time.
Well, Tay, why don't you read the entire manga series before doing this?
Because I don't know. I want to
yeah,
kind of read. I do kind of want to read it now, but so a funny thing, or I guess not a funny thing, but in the manga it explains why she uses a sword.
And it's like a helicopter blade, right?
I don't know. It might be, but. Either the reason she uses a melee weapon is because when she was repeating, back in her timeline, she kept running out of ammo and eventually just started using melee weapons.
Oh, that's actually a question I had. I was gonna say like I was gonna switch soon to like that suits and why was she using the sword?
Yeah. So apparently the movie never talks about it, but on IMDb it was a trivia thing where it's like she's in the comic she uses the sword because she kept running out of ammo. And actually, Cage's character starts using melee weapons too, but they didn't do that for the movie.
But why do they run out of ammo so much? I mean, they're suits, they're exo suits. Like you'd think they would have like some way to like just have unlimited ammo. Like I don't know, technology is not that great at this time, but
you see where the ammo's stored. It's stored in like their legs.
Store it.
Yeah, but you think there would be like more like a way to like I don't know, to have more storage or something? It just seemed like they only had one ammo storage on backup. I mean, I know they don't go in depth to it, but it just acted like
I'm sure it probably could have held a little more ammo, but either way, I mean, how much rounds they have to shoot into these mimics? I mean, it's not surprising that eventually they do run out of ammo.
They expected them to die quick, anyways.
Yeah, I don't have any concerns about that. I mean, it kind of makes sense. I mean. I feel like they had like 1 or 2 clips in each leg as backup, and you would think that if you start adding more ammo into that suit, it might get a little bit over encumbered,
Yeah.
It already looks pretty difficult to walk around in them normally, so I can only imagine with an extra 50 packs of ammo.
Yeah, what's funny, that scene where she starts the helicopter and he's like, every time you die, there's no way around this. And then like finally he finds a way around it by just going like, hey, he doesn't bring her along, but he just talks to the one guy like, give me an extra battery pack.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's with the like? Is it? I don't know if it's just for like explosion reasons, but like the bomb that's in front of their chest, like. One time I could think about it is with the ending when they save the helicopter. But
you talking about the guy who straps a claymore to his chest?
Was it the claymore?
Okay. Yeah, it's just the one guy in the movie. He straps like 2 claymores to his chest.
Yeah.
Okay. I because there was one scene in the beginning when he kills the alpha too, where he like grabs.
Yeah, he grabs it from the guy's dead body, and then.
Okay, I thought it was like a battery. I was like, "Why is this battery?"
Yeah, I didn't know. I just thought it was just a plate of metal. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, it was a claymore.
Or I was thinking maybe like a radioactive battery pack or something.
Thanks.
And if if the Claymore is so effective against these guys, why don't they just everyone carry them with them?
Yeah, just use more explosives.
Yeah, so yeah, why aren't they just like using missiles and stuff? And
I guess
drones.
all their budget's going into the exosuits.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking about, ammo too. Maybe they can't afford that much ammo for each individual, but
Well, it's just like the beginning of Call of Duty Finest Hour. One guy gets a rifle, one guy gets the ammo to pick up the rifle when that guy dies.
Efficiency.
there's that random scene where Rita takes the battery from Tom Cruise.
Because he's dying.
Yeah, he had a hole in his chest.
They didn't show the hole until like the very end of that scene, but
Yeah.
she tells him that right away, and she just leaves.
Yeah, but what's the purpose of it? I mean, they all die anyways. I guess she had hope, but who knows?
Well, I mean, you're gonna try and survive as long as you can, right?
That's true.
Plus, Tom Cruise is gonna reset the day anyway, right away. I mean, she didn't know that, but
she didn't know it at that point. But
it honestly doesn't really matter why she takes the battery pack in the long run of it,
How many times did we see Rita like lift herself up from the floor, like arching her back, doing that sit up?
Callus
I
really
feel like we
that.
saw that like 10 times. Oh yeah,
How's that she? Funny
she's
you
a
brought
true
that up.
waifu.
I was gonna mention that.
Yeah.
I don't do yoga, so I'm out.
it's an actual yoga pose. It's called Cobra.
All right.
But going off of that, I mean, yeah, I felt like there was like a point to the movie where they stopped focusing on like the, wake up maggot, that portion of the movie, and it was all about like the relationship between Rita and Tom Cruise, which I guess can happen because they experience the same thing. But like a love relationship, I don't know.
No, yeah, I agree with you there because like it feels like they talk about like her person she cared about who watched them die 300 times, and I get the impression that that person didn't necessarily know her, but she got to the point knowing him over day and day and day and day, she got feelings for him. Then he died, and then Tom Cruise started getting feelings for Emily Blunt's character because again he got to know her day after day after day, but she still doesn't know him.
Yeah.
She's known him for a day, so like that kiss at the end was a little weird.
Yeah, it almost felt like the same kiss from Last Jedi, where Finn
Yes.
and
Agreed.
and Rose kiss. Yeah.
Spoiler.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking sorry that one too, but also the one from the last movie, whatever, where Rey and what's his face kiss, where it's just like what?
Oh, Rey and Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's what one I thought you were talking about.
Well,
Yeah,
I guess
that
it
one was
happens
even
twice
worse.
in the
Yeah.
sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just Hollywood I think it's one where it's like we gotta have a love story in there. It's like not always.
Make them all kiss. It's like two people with action figures, just smash them together.
Yeah.
It's what sells.
It is. I guess what sells.
Yeah, I was hoping that they wouldn't. I didn't remember that they did, but I was really hoping that they wouldn't, only because it was just like I knew it was gonna be awkward, and it was awkward.
Yeah, I mean that's also kind of like the reason why they went with the ending that they went with, also with him actually getting his power back somehow. They just had to like throw in a happy ending in there.
Yeah, that felt like because like when I was watching with my wife, and she's like, I really hope that he dies and she saves the day. I'm like, I bet they're both gonna die because it's a manga. It's based on a manga, and that's how they usually end.
Yeah,
And
honestly, I think Tom Cruise should have died, and then the day keeps
Yeah.
going after that. But they had, like Cal said, had to make it a happy ending.
Yeah, exactly.
They just had to Hollywoodize it.
I'm able to believe that the blood in the water absorbed into his, and he reset the day. I'm willing to believe that. Okay, what I'm not willing to believe is that he went back in time to before he was he talked to the general. Like,
Yeah.
why is it
How
reset
would
to
you do
that
that?
day or that time
Yeah,
instead of
How?
the
The only thing I could think of is like, since it was the Omega that it was mixing with, that was like the last time the Omega had reset.
well, no,
Yeah,
I don't think that makes sense though, because when the Omega
doesn't.
dies,
It
it
really
all just
doesn't.
ends.
Yeah.
Well, the
But,
thing that
like,
I went, sorry, the thing that I thought about is like, when he lands from the helicopter that morning, he gets off the helicopter and the lady says that, oh, by the way, did you hear the good news? Like the mimics are all like incapacitated or whatever. And so I guess like it changed somehow. It wouldn't make any sense for him to be, arrested, then since there is like no longer any fighting or whatever.
Or
I'm
maybe,
not sure.
or maybe he recessed at that time because that's when the Omega moved, and it did like a save state,
like,
you know?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is he reset to the Omega's last save state, but the
Didn't
Omega
auto
is still
save,
dead.
manual save.
Yeah,
Manual
it's a
save,
manual
yeah.
save. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Either way, it felt a little tacked on to go back, but everything is still, all the mimics are still dying. Like that felt a little weird.
Yeah.
Hey, you gotta read the manga and tell us how it really ends.
I will. I'll do that. Don't worry, guys.
5
it
episodes
might be a
later.
while.
Yeah, I'm about to say 5 episodes later, Tay's like, hey.
That also still confuses me as to why Tom Cruise wakes up on the day of the invasion when he resets before instead of back to when before the general. If that's the case,
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the same day. Like when he lands from the helicopter,
it's the day later.
No, technically, when he landed, the general sent him, because you see the one scene where he actually goes back to the general. It is the same day he sent him there. He's just like, oh, I didn't expect to see you the same day, back so quick.
I just don't get how he's in his full suit when every other day he wasn't. So I don't.
Yeah, well, just the fact that he's on the helicopter doesn't make sense either.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's...
Yeah, like I said, it wasn't super clear. So I don't know. Okay, so it's a manga and a novel called "All You Need Is Kill."
Yeah,
by
nice.
Hiroshi Sakuraza. Saka. Oh.
Yeah. Also, the ending. I don't know if I really like the ending where he goes up to Rita and she's just like, "Yeah, who the fuck are you?" And it just ends. I kind of like it, but I also kind of don't like it. I don't know what you guys think. I mean, because you see J Squad running about, and Tom Cruise is,
Happy
back
they're
being
still
a major.
alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I mean, I guess I was okay with that ending.
yeah, I mean, if like that seems like the place to end it. I mean, like I said, the place to really end it was like you see Tom Cruise die, and then everyone like back, on the mainland rejoicing because the war's over. Would have made more sense.
Yeah,
but...
that would have been a better ending.
Yeah. Or maybe even a better ending would have been. I don't know. I don't think that Tom Cruise should have lived through this, right? I think that they should have reset when the Omega died, right? And then everyone else goes about their business, and Tom Cruise is just not there. And then he actually is seen as a traitor. I think that would have been a really bittersweet ending there.
Yemmy the Cynic.
Well, it kind of it makes more sense to me than him resetting and back to the helicopter. I don't know.
Yeah, the reset to the helicopter still doesn't make sense, but.
And does he have this power now forever? Like when he gets if he gets old age and dies from old age, is he gonna relive the same day where he dies over and over again?
That's also a question that went into my mind. Like, so what? Like, does he have this power now? Can he like kill himself and do whatever?
Maybe if they ever make an Edge of Tomorrow 2, we'll get that answer.
Edge of Tomorrow 2. What could even happen in that movie?
Live through your old age, then die and repeat.
Yeah.
Well, you don't get to have safe states anymore?
Yeah, if you get to blood transfusion, obviously it's over. So. Well.
Yeah.
Anything else?
I think I'm kind of out of things to say. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I think I'm out too. Like I said, the main things I want to talk about was the setup, and then the ending being super dark and not being able to really tell what was going on.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't really like talk too much about like the whole middle of the movie, but I mean, what else is there to say? Like, it was like a lot of action, a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of repeating.
But training. Yeah, I'll say at the same time, the middle is just the same 10 minutes being repeated over and over.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm done. I think I'm good.
All right, well, lead us off with your final thoughts and rating.
Well, overall, like I said, besides the a little weird setup and the ending being a little too dark. Overall, it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. There was a lot of cool moments in there. I enjoy watching Tom Cruise get beat up and shot over and over again. It's always a fun time. Overall, I think I'd give the movie a 4 out of 5.
All right. Yeah, I thought it was. It's still a good watch. I did take down my score a little bit, just because the ending and the beginning, just doesn't really mesh well. I guess I don't know. We already talked about it, but I think the CGI was pretty good. Nothing to complain about there. Monster design was pretty cool. The exoskeletons, I think they could have made them a little bit less bulky to make them a little bit more believable, kind of like Advanced Warfare. I know people don't like me mentioning that game, but it's true that Advanced Warfare had like the best looking exoskeletons and most practical looking ones. But I feel like the ones in Edge of Tomorrow, maybe they wanted to just be a little bit more true to the source material. I don't know. Still looks a little bit awkward when they're walking around. Kind of takes you out of it when you see like all these people like they're coming out of the water and they're just like middling around because the suits are just weighing them down too much. And then you see Tom Cruise running out there with the same suit on. I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna give this one a 3.5.
Yeah, I'll go next. I agree with everything what you guys are saying. The exosuits, I guess, you guys kind of, helped me, calm down with it. But, it just seemed like they could be better developed, and they really weren't developed with the ammo and stuff, so I had issues with that. But, with money and all that, you never know. I felt like the first half was, reset so many times at the base, and then all of a sudden it went to the girl. Then all of a sudden it was just like nothing. But I do agree with Cows that he said, it kind of kept you on edge of like, what does he know? What do we know? Like what's going on next? And yeah, overall it was a fun movie, and I really did enjoy it. So I'll give it a 4 out of 5 as well.
So yeah, when I first saw this movie back when it came out, like I thought like really highly of it. I really liked it a lot, but watching it the second time this time around, I kind of like did notice a lot more problems with it, a lot more things that I kind of like didn't agree with, like the whole setup in the beginning and like the ending, like we talked about. And as I said, I wish we could have seen more from the J Squad, like those super interesting characters. I wish we could have like gotten to spend more time with them. And I kind of wish we did that, especially at the ending when everyone was actually trying to work together to, complete the mission. They all seem to have died way too early. But overall, the movie had like really good action. It was very entertaining, very well paced. I really liked the way they jumped ahead, like the repetitions. Like you never didn't know like how far ahead, but it seemed like it was jumping ahead like several repetitions, and I like the way they paced it, so that was pretty good. But I'm gonna have to rate it also a 3.5 out of 5.
All right, and Coco sent me his final thoughts and rating. He started off with the rating, so I'll put that at the end here. He enjoyed the action scenes and the CGI looked good. He enjoyed the monster design as well. He thought the ending was and he also thought the card scene was which I'm thinking is the one where they eat the cards or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But overall, he enjoyed it, and he will watch it once in a while, and he gives it a 4 out of 5.
In Coco's defense, when he mentioned CGI in the last episode, I think what he meant to say is like the visual effects of the movie.
Well, it's too bad he wasn't here to explain that. Maybe next time.
Yeah.
Kind of do have an explanation of the ending via Google. I don't know if you guys want to hear it or.
We'll take it with a grain of salt. Let's hear it.
All right, so just to briefly sum it up, so apparently he saved right as he was in the helicopter before going to meet with Brigham before he got treasoned. So that's why
he saved.
Yeah, so apparently he had the ability, and then he lost the ability, and then he got the ability again.
What?
That's why
confused.
he's waking up in a helicopter dressed as his, current rank, because he was going to meet with this guy, and then he got treasoned and all that.
But he didn't have the power until he went with the attack on the beach.
So I mean, look it up. I mean, that's kind of.
Yeah.
I'm more confused than ever now.
Yeah, I don't think that's right.
I'll let you guys know when I read the manga.
Yeah, let us know, Tay.
Cool.
All right, so Coco sent me his recommendation for the next episode of Film Freaks, which will be in about 2 weeks. And I mentioned to him that his next episode is going to take place a little bit closer to Halloween, but he never got back to me, so we'll just go ahead with it. He picked Coraline from 2009, which was directed by Henry Selick, and this is more of like a Halloween spooky kind of movie. And the synopsis is, when Coraline moves to an old house, she feels bored and neglected by her parents. She finds a hidden door with a bricked-up passage. During the night, she crosses the passage and finds a parallel world where everybody has buttons instead of eyes, with caring parents and all her dreams coming true. When another mother invites Caroline to stay in her world forever, the girl refuses and finds that the alternate reality where she is trapped is only a trick to lure her. And this stars the voice acting work of Dakota Fanning, Terry Hatcher, Keith David, Jennifer Saunders, and Ian McShane, to name a few. I never seen this movie, but I know about it for sure. And like I said, it is more of like a spooky kind of Halloween-ish movie. It's kind of in the same vein as like your Nightmares, Nightmare Before Christmases and Corpse Bride, stuff like that. Frankenweenie.
Yeah, I haven't seen it for at least since like 2012 or something.
Yeah, good revisit. So good pick.
That'll be a good one.
I've seen like half of that movie, but yeah, it like seemed to like really freak out my kids.
There are some scary or creepy images in it, so especially for young audiences.
Yeah.
As an adult, none of it's probably gonna like scare you, but there might be some jump scares in there though. Yummy, so be prepared.
All right, I'll be ready.
I don't remember.
Like I said, it's kind of in the same vein as like other. I mean, it's kind of claymation-ish. I don't know if it's like
it's claymation or it's stop motion.
Okay, stop motion there. Yeah, so cool. Should be a good watch. So if you don't want to be spoiled, or if you want to join the conversation for Coraline, which is the episode's going to air in 2 weeks, just watch that before then. And like I said before, if you want to join in on the fan vote, the vote for either Callus's movie or any of the other movies we mentioned at the beginning of the episode, just go on down to my Twitter at YemmytheFerret and vote on the poll that'll be attached to the promotional tweet for the episode. And we will reveal who wins in Coco's episode.
Vote for Legend of the Drunken Master.
Callus is looking for a three-peat. Three wins.
Damn.
Alrighty, anyone else have anything that they want to say before we end the show?
Nope, I'm good.
Nope. I'm good.
Just thanks for having me again. Always a pleasure to be here.
No, I appreciate you coming on in such short notice. If you want to follow Callus, he's at JustCallus on Twitter, and also twitch.tv/JustCallus whenever he decides that he wants to stream. Very good guy.
Thank you.
Blue hair, very handsome too.
Very real blue hair.
Very real. Yes.
Very real. Mm-hmm.
All right, y'all. Thank you for listening to this episode of Film Freaks with a Z. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. And I am YemmytheFerret, and I've been here with...
Pretty Waffle.
Animation.
And Just Callus.
And Coco in Spirit. And we are Film Freaks with a Z. Thanks for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Adios.